Today's show brought to you in part by GoToMeeting. For a free 30-day trial, use code podcast at gotomeeting.com.
Fed up with the usual type of RV rally? You need to try the TechnoGeek Learning Rally.
Hey, welcome to Gadgetplex. I'm here with Philip May from TechnoRV, and we're going to learn about TechnoGeeks.
And it's great to be here in the studio for a change.
It is indeed, although we got this height thing going here. Kind of Mutt and Jeff. Well, this was apparently the first rally of its type that was ever held. What made you jump into this?
So, as you know, we go to many different rallies as TechnoRV, and also our colleagues, Geeks on Tour, who we partnered with, and we found that there was a need to spend more time on the technology. And so technology is changing, things like Facebook, smartphones, and people wanted more time on their computers that we were not able to give at the normal rally. So we kind of put our heads together and said, how about we come up with a longer rally that's just dedicated on the technology? And that way we get more one-on-one time with people. And that was really the genesis of the TechnoGeek Learning Rally.
Okay, so but what about the traditional things, the cornhole, the beanbag toss, the ice cream, the hot dogs? Did you have all of that as well?
Well, we thought a little bit about that, but I drew the line at the beanbag toss and the welly boot toss. That was not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
But we did have some fun. We did karaoke. That was fun. That was one of my favorites. People were very polite when I got on the mic. We did a little bit of Tai Chi, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah. So what sorts of questions did people bring to the rally? I mean, was it a lecture type thing or was it more interactive?
That's a good question. It was, we had a number of different lectures, and in fact what we did was ask people through a series of online surveys what were the sort of things that they were interested in, what sort of devices do people have, what sort of problems were they having. And you know, it was nice running our own rally because we had the flexibility to design it how we wanted it. So we took that as input. We came up with sort of half and half, scheduled time via lectures, and then more sort of in the afternoons we would have opportunities for discussions, we would have breakouts, and to be honest, looking back on it, they were for me, some of the most valuable, and from what we heard from from our attendees, the most valuable, the chance to sort of hang out with your own geek and ask those questions like, why isn't my phone working, and how the heck do I do this? And
what was just on the subject of smartphones, if you could have one recurring question, what was the biggest thing on people's minds?
I think more and more people are using phones for photographs, and so a lot of them just didn't really know how to get the photographs off of the phones. They were able to use them, and sometimes they could email them to people, but particularly like on the iPhone or the iPad, they were confused with the whole streaming and backing up and going into iPhoto and so on.
Yeah,
So that
well,
was a common
iTunes
problem.
is probably not one of the easier applications.
Not one of the easiest at all, no.
in order to use that. What about traditional laptops? What sorts of questions always seem to rise to the surface?
So it was very varied with laptops. You know, people would sometimes ask just very specific things. You know, one gentleman wanted to know how to get his contacts from his Outlook into his phone. Some other people were struggling with backup. You know, they had a backup, but when we actually went down to it, and you know, this is the beauty of doing it one-on-one, I said to them, okay, let's say you've lost some of your photos. How do you get them from your backup? They found that they couldn't do that. It was actually what was called a system image, and the only way they could do it was to bring the whole image back onto their computer. So it really was very varied, but I guess that was the beauty of it, is each person got to be able to ask that question that they've always wanted to.
Right. Well, and of course there had to be a lot of questions on connectivity in general. Well, there's Wi-Fi or 3G
right.
or 4G, what is that, etc.
And that was one of the beauties, is that we could actually live some of that because we were at an RV park. And the internet connectivity wasn't great because the Wi-Fi, because it was a typical RV park, wasn't fantastic. So you know, we were able to bring in some of our products, the boosters, and people could actually use them during the class. And then we got to be able to see and talk about the various Verizon versus other options. So it was good to not only talk about it, but to actually practice it.
Okay, so now any rally would not be complete without the food, and you were, cooking for a large number of your now closest friends.
You'd have laughed, but one minute, sometimes I had to check what I was wearing. Did I have my apron on because I was helping Tracy in the kitchen, or was I doing my Tai Chi outside, or was I presenting? So it was a lot of fun, but we kind of specialized on some of the British side, so because Tracy did a lot of the cooking, so we had British sausage rolls. We also did a cream tea, British high tea.
Oh, okay. That was kind of break things up in the afternoon.
Yeah, it was nice. And if you go onto the Facebook page for the rally, that's the TechnoGeek Learning Rally on Facebook. That was just some of the comments that people really liked. They loved the food. They found it very different, and we're interested in the recipes.
Yeah. On the technology side, again, what was the biggest surprise? Something that you really hadn't anticipated as you all were planning this rally?
So what we did for the first time, we were concerned a lot of people actually wanted to come to the rally but weren't able to just because of logistics and because we were late in the season. So what we did was we tried something new, and rather than have its own page, web page, we created a Facebook page. And that way people could, by liking the Facebook page, kind of participate from afar. And so as the rally was progressing, we made it a real point of posting updates, sharing presentations. When we went on the photo assignments, people would share the photos that they took on those assignments with comments, and so we sort of made it an interactive web page, and also people who weren't there were able to dialogue and ask questions and things. And we went from 0 to 350 likes in 4 days, which we were pretty proud of. But it was the interaction that I loved.
How many were actually acting as instructors during the platform portion or lecture portion?
Right, so we had 4 official instructors. So myself, Tracy, Chris and Jim from the Geeks on Tour, and then Ali and Josh. My children were helping as well, because it's like they're teenagers, right? So they're expert.
Exactly. They're digital natives, and all of this, they've just absorbed it over the years.
And also, to be fair, there were a couple of people there who were more skilled in certain areas, and so they were great. They kind of stepped up and would help other people. So it was, by the end, we were, all friends and on first name terms, and had a kind of a family feel about it, which was fun.
So where can people go to find out what the final verdict was on this thing?
So the place to go, you could either send me an email here at Gadgetplex, or you can go onto Facebook, and it's www.facebook.com/TechnoGeek Learning Rally, or you can just search on TechnoGeek Learning Rally and it'll come up. And then if you'd like to like us on that Facebook page, you'll see the next rally listed, which is in Daytona. I think it's early November. We're still finalizing the location.
So you're going to have like 2 a year, maybe?
Maybe even more.
Wow.
Yeah, because people were saying, why don't you want to grow, let's get bigger. And we're like, no, I'd like to keep it small, maybe have more of them, but keep the size to be more of a intimate family type atmosphere. Okay,
well, I know some of the technical topics we're going to be talking about on Gadgetplex, and I suspect some practical illustrations came right out of the TechnoGeek Learning Rally.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks for joining us here on Gadgetplex. We'll see you next time.
Hey, Gabe, wanna go for a walk? Gabe? Gabe? Gabe?
Hey, buddy, you lost? Hold on.
If your pet is the adventuresome type, be sure he's connected to Pet Hub. A quick scan using any smartphone shares your pet's vital information, so that even his wildest escapades have a happy ending. Pet Hub, reuniting pets with their families.
Come on, Gabe, let's go home.